PTSD. You heard that, John? Is that recording? All right.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, yo, what it is and what's good, y'all? Welcome back to 280 Plus, the social media podcast where I take the conversations off the timeline and go beyond the tweets. I'm your host, Los Def, and tonight, man, I got a real special guest. We about to have a real good conversation. We're going to talk a little bit about redemption, resiliency, and then I hope that this brother, man, can, kind of spread some awareness about his story, his movement, and everything else that he got going on, man. So, yo, bro, introduce yourself, man.
Hey, hello everybody. My name is Jovon Deshields. I go by Boo Boo. I just came home from doing 12 years. Went to jail at a very young age, at the age of 15, for making a bad decision. And now I'm just focused on getting my life together and just taking one step at a time and staying positive.
Dang, that's what's up, man. That's what's up. So, yeah, I was going to ask you, so before we dive in, you know what I mean? So you did 12 years and you was 15 years old when you went in.
Yes.
Dang, man. So there's a lot to get into, man. So yeah, man. So I'm just trying to keep us on track here with all that, man. So like let's kind of start like back in the day, man. Like tell us a little bit about your childhood, man. And what was it like for you growing up? But most importantly, what did you see that opened the door to you possibly like starting to hustle? You know what I'm saying? So like, tell us about, what was it like being a kid, but then like, what was like some influences around you that kind of opened up that door for you to make that bad decision? You know what I'm saying?
Well, basically, I grew up in York City in the city part, just basically where there was a lot of violence going on, a lot of people selling drugs, and just basically like right out front of my house, that's where drugs were being sold. No matter what drug it was all different types of drugs that were being sold. And I just felt like being a follower and thought that was the right thing, seeing people with the cars, jewelry, money, getting a girl. So I just felt like that was the right thing to do. So I just basically followed after them and thought that was the right option to just go for in life.
Yeah. So it wasn't because how like sometimes people start hustling and they talk about like, yeah, man, I needed to feed my family and like, we were struggling. Like, are you saying like it wasn't like that for you? Like everything was good. You just kind of followed the trend.
I grew up with a good family, mom
Okay.
and dad in the house.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I didn't need for nothing, but I just chose to go get more. I used to cut grass for Blaine Simpson snow removal
Okay.
and make a couple dollars cutting grass, shoveling snow. But I always just wanted that extra. Back then, I used to go to the skating ring. I always wanted to be that guy that was able to pay for everybody to get in and just basically going to all the parties. And then basically, I would just like somebody happened to come up to me and ask me one time, "Do I have something?" I didn't have nothing.
Yeah.
So I'm like, in my neighborhood, it's right out front. They gonna keep asking me, why don't I just go find something? Then I just started selling drugs. And then, once you start selling drugs, the violence comes after that.
Yeah, the violence comes after that. But you didn't have nobody that was like, on some type of time, like, smacking that out your hand, like, yo, nah, chill, boo boo. Like you don't need to be doing none of that, whatever. And was it like some resistance or you know what I mean? Or was you kind of sneaky with it a little bit, you know what I mean? Like
I always had older cousins, older family members, older friends that was chase me off the block.
Okay.
As far as what I was hanging at, and basically tell me like this wasn't right. But once my mind was made up, there was nothing they could do. They didn't whoop my butt. They then took stuff out my pockets, took my money, and basically I just felt like, oh, I'm gonna go get more. It's right out front.
Yeah.
And then it just came to that point that there was nothing they can do.
Okay. So like, and I guess even like in school, like was you wasn't like, was you worried about school or was you kind of like was you like a class clown or was you like, you know what I mean?
As far as in school, I went to Hennepin. I was getting good grades. And then once I was at Hennepin, I was getting good grades. I was going through the motion. I
Yeah.
still was selling drugs while I was there. And then I came to the point like I wanted to change. So I signed up for Votech. I
Okay.
went there for 2 days. They kicked me out due to they said I was involved with a drive-by. I was never charged nothing. I was just questioned.
Okay.
So I
Okay.
tried to make a decision and change certain things instead of going to William Penn. I thought if I go to Votech, what's the chances of me walking from there or anything other than going to William Penn and being right in my neighborhood where I can sell drugs right then and there. But then they ended up kicking me out of there within 2 days. And I felt like, okay, I'm going back to William Penn. This is what it is. And I made the bad decision to start basically getting deeper into selling drugs.
Dang, man. So you was in middle school. You saying you was in middle school, like when you was hustling. Like how young was you when you first, you know what I mean, was out there?
I was at least 13 years old. I was driving a Hennepin
Oh, you
at
was
13 years old.
drive like a fiend whip or something, you know what I mean? Like type.
Bean whips or hand an older person to get me a rental car. I
Yeah.
was driving rental cars at 13 years old.
Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, I mean that it ain't crazy because I've seen it. You know what I'm saying? I've seen that, whatever. But like, I think for most people, they probably think like, dang, like, you know what I mean, it's like that, whatever. But like, yeah, it's like that in YC. You know what I mean? Um, so I just got, I guess I wonder too, man. Like, how much? Because nowadays, we got a lot of things kind of bombarding the kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, we talk about the music, we talk about the TV, we talk even the movies and things like that, and social media itself. But like, how much is like media a contributing factor to start hustling, or is it more about like the physical environment, like the stuff that you see around you? You know what I'm saying? Or is it the music? Is it the TV? Is it the movies and stuff like that? How much of a factor do you think that plays?
I think it's I think it's both. I think it's the music and what people see out front. You got to think. I went to jail at the age of 15. There wasn't no such thing as people running around with masks on or
Yeah,
any of that. So that just made it even more worse on just the violence to do this simple fact. I could cover my face up.
yeah,
I
yeah.
could cover my face up to sell drugs. I carry my face up to commit a crime. So it's basically free game.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I definitely think the media, it almost becomes like the soundtrack to that lifestyle. But I don't think necessarily the music makes you, yeah, I mean, start to hustle, whatever. Because like, for example, if I live out in the suburbs, you know what I'm saying, and I don't know nobody that do drugs, I never seen nobody, sell drugs, whatever. I don't have no access to the drugs, whatever. Just because I could listen to, whatever, like back in the day when I was young, I could listen to so much Jeezy that I'm still not gonna become the snowman. You know what I'm saying? But like I think
Yeah.
the physical environment is definitely probably the biggest factor because yeah, if you see it, if I can get it quick, you know what I mean? If I can get it from around the corner, I got family members that hustled. I know people that do the drugs, whatever. Then like the music probably like kind of maybe motivates you to kind of get it, but whatever. But I don't think media alone is like what makes people do it, whatever. So, but like but nowadays that's what the talk is. It's like, yo, this stuff is ruining us, and I think, like I said, I think it contributes, but I don't know if it's like I don't know that that's what gets you out there. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know if you agree with that, but definitely the close proximity of everything. I think that's what plays the bigger role. So,
I used to be one of them watching videos and thinking I wanted to do that. So what's the difference between a video or seeing a person doing out here in real life? That's all a video. It just ain't being videotaped.
but it's crazy though, because like, so all right, you say you started, you was, out there like 13, whatever, and then you get booked 15. Like you ain't really have a long run, bro. You know what I mean? That was like a short run.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So like I think too, that's just a lesson in that, you know what I mean? It don't matter how fast that
Blessing.
yeah, yeah. And maybe in some ways it is a blessing that you kind of it happened sooner than later. Um so let's talk about getting locked up, man. Do you feel like did you feel prepared going in? You know what I mean? What was your general mindset? Because like I think sometimes people go in and they just think like, man, I'm gonna do this little bit, I'm gonna get out and run it up, whatever, whatever. But like I guess your charge, you had a more serious charge that wasn't gonna allow you to come right out, whatever. But like, was you prepared for it, or were you nervous? Like, you know what I mean, as a 15-year-old, you know what I mean?
Well, due to I was 15 or any age, you're never prepared.
Okay.
You would think you're prepared, but you're never prepared. But one thing I noticed that you can be street smart, but not know shit about jail.
Mm.
Know nothing about jail. So when I went in there, I went straight to juvenile. You got to think about it. When they came and got me, they came and got me for attempted homicide. But at the same time, I had two possession with intent to deliver drug cases held against me at the time. So
Yeah.
I knew automatically I was going to juvenile, but I knew nothing about juvenile because I never did no time nowhere. So that's
Okay.
all the beginning. The farthest place I ever made it to was central booking,
Okay.
other than going to the shelter part at York Development Center for like 30 days.
Okay.
But you got to think about it. When they came and got me, they took me to straight to central booking. Then I went to Lancaster to the
Oh,
maximum security holding facility.
okay.
So when I got there, it's basically like all that being grown out there in the streets. We about to snap you back to reality.
Mm.
Like you're a kid, so you're
Yeah.
going to do kid things.
Okay. Okay.
So that was like a hard adjustment for myself. So I just basically had to like, it was basically like going through a detox without using drugs.
Oh shit. Yeah. Yeah. Like, well, in what ways? In what ways was it like detox? Like just missing home, like being restricted. Yeah, I mean, somebody telling you when you got to go to bed, like, I mean, that type of stuff. Like, is that what you mean, or what?
Being told to go to sleep at 6 o'clock.
6 p.m.
Yeah, 6 p.m. They
Oh shit.
locking you in your cell 6 p.m. Or let's not even talk about me asking when I first got in there. I took my Timberland boots off because I got booked with Timbers on. I asked for my flip flops or some slides. They said we don't do that at this facility. You walk around in your socks.
Oh damn.
Walk around. I ended up staying at that place for a year. Not to get too far, but to mention, I never had a pair of shoes on at that facility for a year. I walked around that building with just my socks on. So just imagine that. The
Yeah.
only
Like,
time I had a pair of shoes on is when we go to the gym for
okay.
practical training.
Okay. Okay. Practical training, is that like calisthenics, like you know what I mean, like push-ups and all that type of stuff? Like, what is that?
Jumping jacks, push ups, jumping
O-
jacks, push ups.
Okay. 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 So like I guess even like early on, man, like, I mean, you probably obviously noticed some things that just didn't add up to what maybe you heard about prison or just being incarcerated. So like what are some like misconceptions or things that people don't realize about being locked up? I guess that's one of them. Like, you know what I mean? Like you having to go to bed at, like they lights out is at 6 o'clock. Like I don't think I realized that, whatever. But like, what were some things like for off the rip? Like you was like, "Damn, yo, this is crazy. Like ain't nobody tell me about this." Like, you know what I mean?
Well, you gotta think. Basically, as soon as I got there, mind you, I went to juvenile first. So
Okay.
when I got there, it's basically strip and go through the orientation process. Basically, going to see medical and just basically being talked to any type of way. But you got to think about it. I just came from the streets, barely ever even respecting my parents, to have to come in here and respect people I don't know by
Yeah.
force. So
Yeah.
that was a kind of a hard transition. And basically knowing I'm not going nowhere. I'm going to be here for a while.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, damn, that is that is crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like on some almost like on some military stuff, like some, you know what I mean? Like, oh, like,
That's what it was. You want to be technical.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Dang, man. Um, so it's crazy, man. So like getting locked up at 15 and like, losing 12 years of your life, like, that's like some important years, you know what I'm saying? Like of your adolescence, but also, you know what I mean, of your early adulthood, man. So like essentially like you became a man like in prison, man. So how much in your mind, I guess in your estimation, man, like how much harder is it for a younger person getting locked up as opposed to like a grown adult that might have like a family, that might have, because yeah, you were young enough like that you didn't have kids, so you didn't have anybody like to, that you were like stressed about like having to take care of. But like, yeah, like what do you think? Do you think it's like harder for like a younger person because like you don't have the experience, you're still kind of growing up, or do you think it would have been harder if you was like a grown adult, like, and you would have like kind of like lost so much, you know what I mean, in your life?
See, the only thing about my situation was I was wasn't like a normal 15-year-old basically. And when I say that, meaning I was being around older people doing things I wasn't supposed to, other than a 15-year-old, a regular 15-year-old that's going home after school, doing his homework and just following the rules.
Yeah.
So it was hard for me to adjust, but I just basically it was a mental thing to put in my mind, like get through it or let it break you.
Yeah. 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 Dang, man, that's crazy. That's crazy. So I guess at what point did you so do you get like when you turn 18, do they transfer you like right away, like to an adult prison, or how's that process even work? You know what I mean?
I went to jail September 30th, 2010. I got certified September 16th, 2011 to York County Prison. So I was immediately transferred once I was 16.
Okay. 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 And did you do like state time, or was it all like in the county type?
I stayed in the county March from September 16, 2011 to August 2012. I was transferred upstate.
Okay.
I did majority of my time upstate. I did 10 years upstate.
Damn, that's crazy, man. That is crazy. That's crazy. So
Far as
now go ahead, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
far as if it was basically doing it at SCI Camp Hill or SCI Pine Grove or SCI Chester.
Okay, okay. And is that like just abbreviation for like the like maximum security? Like what is that? SC, what does that mean? Like
SCI stands for State Correctional Institution.
okay,
And when I say Chester, that means that's a jail that they have. That's the SCI. That's a state correctional facility. And Camp Hill, that's another jail. And Pine Grove is another jail.
okay, okay, okay.
All throughout the state, different.
Yeah, different. Okay, okay.
They're all maximum security.
Okay. So obviously then, man, yeah, I mean, I can imagine, man, state time is no joke, you know what I mean? And you can get into that if you want, but while you're locked up, man, when did your mindset begin to change? And when did your mantra like, never going back? Like when did that become like your motivation? You know what I'm saying? Like because obviously, on a day-to-day basis, you trying to probably just, in some ways trying to survive, whatever. But like what was it in there that made you? Because I think sometimes, unfortunately, man, when you're institutionalized, that's what you become sometimes. You know what I mean? And people like they become that, you know what I mean? And they get used to that because maybe on the outside they might not be whoever they think they are, you know what I mean? But inside, like it's I don't even know how to describe it, but like they almost like make it home, like I said, institutionalized. But like for you though, when did like your mindset like change and you was like, yo, I ain't never coming back here. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Well, basically, just going through the jails thing, basically waking up, having to develop a schedule each and every day, calling home, hearing a family member died, aunts, uncles dying, birthdays, not able to be there. It came to the point that I just was like, I'm never coming back to this. Hearing my family stressed, going through the appeal situation where thinking I'm having a chance of coming home and don't get the chance.
yeah,
And just basically like having to really like learn new things in prison from people I don't know, strangers, rather if
yeah,
it's good information or bad information.
dang. That's great. How do you, yeah, even that, like, how do you even sift through the good information and bad information? Like, how do you know who to trust? I mean, did you have people up, like, when you went upstate, did you have people that you knew up there, or was it like, brand new? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Being from York and it's a small city, we know we know certain people. We know certain people basically. So, but that don't matter because you're gonna get good information, you're gonna get bad information. It's all about how you use it.
okay,
Because I then took some negative information and basically failed myself by taking it, and then I took some good information, and then it worked out. So I grew over the time as I'm getting 16-year-old, 17 years old myself. I learned to like, okay, don't take all information. You know what I mean? Weigh it out before you even use it. Rather, if
Yeah,
it's knowledge, it's gain, a person trying to tell you something about jail, how to do anything. Because you got to think, when you go to prison, it's a totally different lifestyle than what you live out here. You got to learn how to conduct yourself as a man there. You have to learn how to move, how to talk to certain people. You got to learn how people's trying to finagle certain situations.
yeah,
So
yeah.
you got to just basically, you got to change who you are to learn how certain things are
Okay,
and
okay.
just go with the motion.
Yeah,
Just go with
yeah,
the motion and just take it for what it is each and every day as you wake up. There's days I woke up and I didn't want to be bothered with people.
yeah, yeah,
It's days that I was stressed out that I get on the phone and I call my family up and I don't even want them to know that I'm stressed out. So I gotta sit on the phone, act like everything's all right.
dang, man, that's real, that's real.
So when I started coming to the conclusion, like I can't come back to this. I can't let them take my freedom because this door is always gonna be open. So why would I give these people an opportunity to take my freedom again? No, I
Yeah,
can't come back to this. I like to get up, work out when I want to work out, go to sleep when I want to go to sleep, watch what I want to watch on TV, use the
yeah,
phone. Going basic, being in there, I had to sign over certain things. Talk when I want to talk on the phone. I can't do that. Can't talk to my parents when I want to talk to them. Sick, can't call on my parents. I gotta depend on people that don't barely know me. They here for a check to basically help me stay healthy, and some are just there for the check.
yeah, yeah.
So when I came up the conclusion, like over the time, I always wrote stuff down, always journaled. And I was just basically like, okay, what about never going back? Like, what if I just came home and pushed that?
Okay.
But anybody can come out with anything, but it's all about how you stand behind it. You got to stand on it, what you coming out with. So when I came out and I said, never going back, that means I'm standing on this each and every day. I'm not going back to selling drugs. I'm not going back to bad relationships. I'm not going back to being around negative energy and negative vibes. And basically, I'm not going back to selling drugs, carrying guns. I'm not going back to none of that. Some
Yeah.
people think never going back was just basically about never going back to jail. No, we all suffer different things. We don't never want to go back to depression,
Okay.
so many other things.
Yeah, no, that's real. That's real. That's real. So, but recidivism, you know what I mean? Like that, just like getting out of jail, but then going back, whatever. That's a real thing, whatever. So, like, because people get this, I think when people get incarcerated and when they get out, I mean, they get discouraged because of maybe a lack of employment opportunities, maybe the transition if they were selling drugs, the transition to slow money, maybe even they reignite beefs that they had, you know what I mean, from when they was out before, you know what I mean? So like what things are you doing to ensure that you're never going back? Because it's probably hard, you know what I mean, because you might have some people that like, because do you really cut people out of your life? You know what I mean? Like, even if it's family that are involved in this stuff, like, because I can imagine like it can be a little bit difficult at times. You know what I mean?
So basically, with myself, I always just came to the point that I got to do what's best for me. No matter if it's a family member or friend, I'm going to do what I'm supposed to do for myself, what makes me happy. So if I make a bad decision, that basically was on me. But I came to the conclusion where when I said about never going back, I said, what do I got to do when I come home to keep me out of trouble? Okay. One thing I used to have a problem before I went to jail is driving without license. I came home, I got my license from the door. I said, let's get that off. I went and got a bank account. Let's get that off. From the door, I went and got all the funding I can get, basically, as far as with my parole supervision to help me out to be better for my reentry. So I basically went, applied for food stamps for my food and stuff.
Okay.
Two, I end up going to apply for jobs, which I had the opportunity to get a decent job.
Okay.
And I just basically reevaluated each and every day. What can I do to just stay focused and never go back? Because
Okay.
you're going to run to that point where things is going to get bad and you're going to be like, hold up, what do you do? You got to know, oh, I can't go buy these things that I can't afford. I don't sell drugs no more.
Yeah.
So I just basically be on a tight time, like, this is what I'm on now, and I got to take one step at a time.
Yeah.
It's either go this route and good results, or walk down that alleyway and get bad results.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because that prison door is always open every day.
Yeah.
Every day somebody's coming in and they got a bed for everybody. Or they'll make room. I've seen it. They made room.
Yeah.
Every
Yeah.
time. So basically, I just be on a tight time now. Like, I'm not going back. And I stand on that. And I just never going back to be misconstrued for the wrong things.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's not just about prison.
Yeah.
I'm not going back to bad relationships. I have bad relationships with family, friends.
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
not going back to that.
Yeah.
So it's basically about many different things. And basically just about prison is the number one. Because nobody can't speak for prison. I can't give you a book and say here, and I've never been through it.
Yeah.
But if
Yeah.
I'm sitting here telling you I've been through this, I've been through where there's old heads up there that are moving crafty. I didn't pay 2 suits of ramen noodles for some toilet paper. And we'll think like, why would you not give me toilet paper what I'm supposed to have?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Why are you charging me for toilet paper?
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Or just being in certain situations where it's hate everywhere. You're always going to have hate no matter where you at. You're always going to have hate, whether it's on the streets or in jail. I
Yeah.
done been in situations where I was basically hated on for trying to do the right thing, help a person out. So it came to the point where you just got to worry about yourself. Because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, they give you one ID when you walk in there.
Yeah.
And it's only going to be you when you walk out of there.
Yeah. Yeah. So can you like essentially can you like some people like yeah man just keep your head down, don't get in the mix whatever, and do your time whatever. Like is that possible to do that whatever, or is there constant like pressures or just like obstacles in your way like throughout your time, can you kind of just stay out the mix whatever, or is it always gonna be something whenever you locked up?
Well, to be honest with you, I walked into a few situations, maybe over the phone or anything,
Yeah.
but I never had no misconducts in 12 years.
Okay. Okay.
I made parole first time.
Okay.
Never had no misconducts at all. Because you got to know, put yourself in certain situations.
Yeah.
Stay away from certain people. Keep it basic. Hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
When you
Yeah.
put yourself in certain situations, just like on the streets, you're going to get certain outcomes. And it's the same as in jail. The stuff
Yeah.
that's going on out here is the same that's going on in jail. It's just a fence around it,
Yeah.
literally.
Yeah.
People in there getting high, people in there having sex. It's
Oh,
all the same type
yeah.
of things. You just
Yeah.
can't go home.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
People robbing people. It's all the same thing.
Damn. Yeah, I think I seen in one of your videos you said that like you admitted or you told that you had got robbed a couple times, you know what I'm saying, even like, and that's just the reality. That's just what you got to deal with, you know what I'm saying?
My main thing while I was in prison was to work.
Okay. Okay.
I was heavy into culinary, basically cooking. I
Okay.
used to go to work at 4 a.m. and didn't come back to my cell till 7 o'clock at night. For one, it made me save money. At the same time, I'm making money because I'm down here. I can make whatever food I want. For two, I'm staying out the way. I'm out of trouble. And for three, I'm not locked in my cell all day.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm making breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And it's making time go by. I
Yeah.
made 5, 6 years of my time go by like nothing.
Okay. Okay.
And I'm bringing in $195 a month. And that's good in jail.
In jail, yeah, that's good. Yeah. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Some people don't even have that out here.
Yeah. Yeah. So like that's crazy. So like you were saying like the stuff that's going down on the streets and the stuff that's going, it's the same thing whatever, but like does it when you're in jail, you know what I'm saying, does it really trivialize or like kind of make the stuff that's going on outside like unimportant in terms of like beef and stuff like that? Because what I've learned to understand is that some of the conflicts that you have like out on the streets whatever, like if you go upstate whatever, some of that stuff is kind of like not, I won't say it's done or washed away completely, but then it becomes like a survival thing where it's like, yo, we from the same city, so like we kind of gotta look out for each other a little bit because it's dudes from this city, this city, this city, whatever. So it's like, does it make you realize like, damn, like all this shit that we was doing out here, this side versus this side, like what the fuck was we doing it for? Like, does it make you feel that way sometimes? Or
Yeah, definitely. Because I seen a lot of guys that were trying to kill each other on the streets come in jail and they're cool because
yeah,
they're around a bunch of people that they don't know. So it's basically like you're from York, I'm from York. Like whatever we had on the streets, let's let it go.
yeah, yeah,
Especially if it wasn't that serious, just let it go.
yeah,
So I've seen them type of situations over and over. I'd be like, I didn't even think they talked. But I came to a conclusion myself where the stuff that was going on the outside, I didn't even care.
yeah,
So when I'm
yeah,
calling home to see what's going on with my family and they trying to talk about other stuff, I don't care because
yeah,
I'm in jail mode. I'm strictly in jail mode.
yeah, yeah,
I still have people call me from jail to this day, and I try to tell them I'm in outside mode now. I'm no longer in jail mode.
yeah,
I don't
yeah,
want to hear about jail. I just want to hear about you and how you're doing today. That's
yeah,
it. I don't want to hear jail stuff.
yeah, yeah. That's what's up, man. That's what's up. So, what also too, one thing in your videos, you talked about like the importance of mental health, and things like that. So, like, what were some things that you kind of experienced, and did you learn a little bit more about your own mental health throughout that process? Because what I mean, I had my brother. I mean, he's been incarcerated multiple times, and it was in prison that he got his first like psych evaluation, and then he started, he realized that he started going to therapy. He started actually getting medicated because he realized like yo, that thing that kind of triggers him and makes him go off, like he had some type of imbalance, and like he learned that for the first time. Like, did you discover some things like while you were in jail, like about that type of stuff? Or
As far as with the mental health, that's a strong subject. Like
yeah,
that's something tight to touch on.
okay,
I
okay,
didn't have plenty of different times where I was depressed, but I didn't know I was depressed.
okay,
And I was just basically locked myself in a cell, covered the windows in darkness, and you can be going through depression and you not even know it. So each and every day for me to get through things, I used to write how I was feeling when I woke up and how my day was. Because believe it or not, writing stuff down makes you feel better than talking to somebody.
okay,
Because it's
okay,
basically like writing how you're feeling. You're just going, you're going, you're going, you're going.
okay,
Because PTSD is real and mental health is real basically because if your mental's not right, nothing's gonna be right. You
yeah,
ain't eating right, you ain't talking right, you ain't sleeping right. It's times I couldn't even remember how old I was because my
damn,
mental was so messed up. And I knew that the jail was like breaking me down shortly but slowly, but I just had to just fight through it. Because it took one of the times that I was living by myself and I end up moving somebody into my cell and they said, why you got these windows dark? And I'm like, I'm just chilling, I'm keeping the sun out. But the whole time I was suffering depression. So
damn.
when he took the windows and opened them up and the light came in, I felt better.
Oh wow, wow,
So basically, I always told myself, you have to take time to yourself just to get your mind right. And I learned that in jail. You don't always have to be around people. You got
okay,
to think, I went 12 years with only being able to be around my family of 5 members only.
yeah,
When I came home now, basically being around a lot of people, it's still like, oh, I'm defensive
yeah,
because
yeah,
I'm only being around 5 people. The limit at the visit is 5 people,
yeah,
no more than 5. So big crowds, I still be cautious because of my mental.
yeah,
Because if that mental's not right, you're not going to be right. You can't beat your mental because
damn,
you will eventually shut down.
damn. So you just got out in October, right?
I got out October 4th, 2022.
That's crazy, man. Like I mean, so shout out to you, man. Like for not only getting out and obviously like changing your mindset, whatever, but like obviously now it seems like you're giving back. You know what I mean? And you're having these conversations with the youth, with the troubled youth, and trying to steer them in the right path. So I guess one last like kind of question about that then is when you talk to the kids, how much of what you're saying, how much do you think of what you're saying is like really resonating with them versus like you know, things going in one ear and out the other. You know what I mean? Like, do you think like they're really, you know, like really hearing you, and like you feel like you're reaching these kids, or do you feel like some of these kids are just like kind of like, you know, sitting there, they have to be there maybe, and then it's just kind of like the message is kind of going one ear and out the other. What do you think?
You gotta think some of the kids are basically young and some are older, but at the same time, I don't care about if they're listening or not. But I know at least I get one person, I know I'll be good.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
I know my message is going to get through one person. Because I'm telling y'all straight up, I just went through it.
yeah,
I ain't sitting up here reading anything out of a book and just telling y'all some fake stuff. I'm telling y'all, I went through it
yeah.
at y'all age, basically. So y'all can either think what I'm saying is false and then go try for yourself. Because like I just told them a couple days ago, I said, your mom and dad has no control of you once they get you. They sign that paperwork right over. You can't call mom, come get me. No, you are now put your custody into the law.
Damn, damn, that's crazy, man. That's crazy. And I think that's yeah, they, you know, that's like a sobering and probably a rude awakening for some kids, man. But I definitely think, man, it's important to have, you know, I mean, them kind of like lectures with these kids and these talks with the youth. But you know, but you, like, you know, man, we're all a little bit hard-headed when we're young, and it's unfortunate that some lessons we just not ready to receive until it's too late sometimes. So the talks are good, but I think that we have to kind of give the youth an outlet. So like, it's good that you're talking to them, but like I think especially ones that are like selling drugs and kind of moving a little fast, like they need an outlet in terms of like they need to be able to see, you know what I mean? Not just hear, like they need to be able to see, like, yo, like what are the possibilities out there? You know what I'm saying? The goal, I mean, so they can have like goals and aspirations. But like I said, man, you know, shout out to you, man, for even taking the time to do that, man. And because I know that's probably tough, man, because you kind of like reliving some of those things, even this conversation right now. Like I know it's like some of the things you're thinking about, and I know that's probably like your mission, but like it's probably hard too, like kind of rehashing some of that, man. So but like so what is your, I guess, like what do you have kind of like going on right now, man? What's the plan? What's the movement? You know what I mean? The branding, you know what I mean? Are you selling this? Like what do you got going on?
Well, basically, as far as right now, I got the Never Going Back, basically t-shirts in white and black. I got the hoodies, as far as what Never Going Back. I'm about to drop out this full body sweatsuits to finish the winter up of the Never Going Back. Basically, it's stitched on. And basically, my next project is getting a bunch of kids together and getting into one of the detention centers and basically do a walkthrough and
Okay.
just explain to them how this can affect your life and how this is not what you want.
Oh, for
And
okay.
basically just give them a little bit of game just on the parole system. You can get sentenced to a certain time, but you still got to sit around a table and let 3 or 4 people determine yes or no if they want to let you go back out into society. So since I've been home, I just basically been networking, trying to learn who's doing this, who's doing that, far as in the community, who can I link up with, because this is all new to me. I'm
Yeah,
still
yeah.
learning technology, far as with the phones and everything. So each and every day, I'm just looking for outlets on how can I get my message out? How can I tell them that this is not the right way to go? So basically, I'm just still focused on and learning new outlets and networking.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up. And I guess did you do some stuff with Tavon and the Advantage program? Did you do anything with him?
Well, as far as with Tavon right now, I'm doing volunteering. As far as on
Okay.
the weekends, hook up
Okay.
with the kids and just help, just trying to figure it out, just getting comfortable. Like
Okay.
I
Okay.
just went with them to the art museum in Washington D.C.
That's
That was a
lit.
nice experience. Because you got to think at the same time, I miss all my teams. A lot of the stuff I'm doing, I never did before.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And another thing is, I had a moment when I was on that Greyhound bus. I never been on the Greyhound bus except getting onto the Blue Goose, as I would call it, state bus,
Yeah.
walking up shackled like this. So when I was riding on the bus, I said to myself, like, wow, I'm no longer shackled no more. I'm taking
Yeah.
this ride comfortable with a TV in front of me, water steady being shackled for hours,
Yeah.
riding up by Pittsburgh with chains on my ankles and shackles around the top of my arms.
Man, bro. That's probably, that's, I mean, like a full circle moment though, but like again, like just that, you almost like you're reliving certain things that, I mean, like it's an innocent thing to go on a Greyhound bus, I mean, but like it takes you back to like a darker time, and obviously that's not gonna be that's not the first time, it's not gonna be the last time, but like hopefully, man, like you get more comfortable out here, man. I'm rooting for you, bro, in terms of us just, getting the message out, and also just, finding your way, man, because, it's only been a couple months. But if you keep that mantra in your head like that, never going back, man, that's what's gonna be a reality, man, that you never going back. So I do appreciate your time, man. Talking with me. We're gonna get this episode out and all that. But I guess before we go, man, do you have where can people find you on social media? Also too, did you have a good time? Like, or did you feel like you got your shit off? You know what I mean? Would you want to come back, talk about some other stuff? I don't know, because I kind of wanted to keep it.
I definitely appreciate this. This is the first podcast I did, basically, far as on a Zoom. So I definitely appreciate the opportunity, you giving me a chance basically to get my story out. Anytime I get a chance, I'm hopping on.
Okay.
No matter what, I'm hopping on just to tell what I went through, what I'm going through after prison, how I'm making progress as far as just being home 120 days so far, and all the things that I accomplished.
Yeah.
And basically, I'm just trying to get my message out. However I can get my message out, I'm willing to go, as long as it's on a positive route. And basically, you can find me on Instagram at Never Going Back. You can find me on Facebook at Humble Strong. And I'm always here to talk to. You need me to talk to your kids for some advice, give them some advice. If you see they going down the wrong path, contact me on Instagram. Okay. Never Going Back, Humble Strong, Facebook. I'm always available.
That's what's up, man. Like I said, powerful message, man. And if the audience, man, y'all watching, man, at this point, I need y'all to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. We're gonna have his description and Instagram on the bottom there. Tap in with this guy, man. Like I said, how do we get the merch? I mean, how do we get the shirts? How do we get the sweatsuits? Like, do you got a website? Like, how do we do that? Because I wanna support you, man.
You can just contact me on Instagram. My Instagram is, I'm always on call at Never Going Back, or basically on Facebook, Humble Strong. You can always contact me on there. My page are public, and I'm always available.
Okay, that's what's up, man. That's what's up. Yeah, I'm gonna definitely next time I'm in town, man, I'm gonna definitely hit you up, and I don't know, I've seen a lot of different colors of that. You got like a lot of flavors of them hoodies, man. Like, you got all them colors on deck, or?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
I just keep coming with different flavors, just trying to get the message out different. I'm definitely about to drop another logo, basically to explain Never Going Back a little bit more.
Okay.
Just a little bit more flavor to explain it, because I'm just looking for the chance. That's all. I'm just looking for the chance.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up. And like I said, you teaming up with guys, even like, Tavon and things like that, because he got his own story. And he's a success story that, in terms of like incarceration. And obviously we're not comparing like bids and nothing like that, but like, it's
sure.
good.
Time is time.
Yeah, time is
you
time.
Do one day, that's time.
Yeah, I mean, so it's good though, because I think he's on the right track, and he's doing a lot of good things with the youth, and it's good to see, man. It's good to see the synergy. It's good to see the collaboration, and I've had him on the podcast, like, it was like when I first started, so I'm always grateful to him too, man. So but like, again, appreciate your time. And man, like I said, anytime you want to come back on, man, you want to talk about some just regular stuff, man, whatever, or you got something else going on, hit me up, and then we definitely gonna make it work, man. So, but yeah, man. Yo,
I appreciate you.
Nah, go ahead. Go. I'm sorry.
I appreciate you so much. I said, I appreciate you so much. Thanks for the opportunity. And I got one last thing. Never going back to bad relationships. Never going back to bad mental health. Never going back to the streets. Never going back to selling drugs. Never going back to carrying guns. Stay positive.
That's what's up, man. That's a good message, man. That's a good way to close it out. So, yeah, this is another episode of the Twitty Plus Podcast, y'all. We out, man. Peace.
All right, thank you.
Definitely, man.